It is what almost every boy who comes to Lovett dreams about, strapping on a helmet, playing under the lights by the riverbank, and winning a championship. But the dream doesn't start in high school, it starts in seventh grade. For 12 and 13-year-old boys, the seventh grade is the first year that we can participate in the Lovett football program. And unlike playing in leagues like NYO, having the chance to be a Lovett Lion for the first time means something extra special.
Well, I think it really gives our kids a good foundation to work from as they progress through our different levels from seventh grade to eighth grade to ninth grade to the end of the JV and varsity. The familiarity with the drills that we run, the familiarity with the terms that we use. The hard part, I think, sometimes is that you have a kid who in the seventh grade might end up being an offensive lineman, but by the time he gets to be a sophomore, junior, senior, he may end up being a skill type kid where he's a wide receiver or maybe a running back, and vice versa. However, I think there's an awful lot of carryover from one year to the next year, and having all that gives them a level of comfort as they continue to progress through the system.
I think the advantages of the seventh grade football team running the same system as the varsity is that we have continuity from top to bottom, and that our kids, when they go to the varsity football game on Friday nights, they get to see what they actually do. They see how it can be executed. We hear the same terminology from seventh grade through their 12th grade year, and it's familiarity. They get comfortable. They start to understand why we do the things we do and how it's supposed to work, and they get a little bit more each year from 7th grade through 12th grade. And I think that gives us an advantage as a program.
Playing for Lovett, I think, means more um, because you're representing your school, and it actually means something, whereas, like, where I played at NYO, I was just representing the Vikings, like my coach.
Well, I think it's just a great opportunity that you can start early and learn the system already before you get to upper school.
The best part about being able to play Lovett football in seventh grade is probably just playing with your friends and playing other kids you know from different schools.
Well, I get to like represent my not only my team but my school, and I like that a lot.
Well, like I said, you get to represent your school and not just a bunch of guys. It's really nerve-wracking sometimes.
I think the best part is just having Love It across your chest and representing your school.
Most great players on past teams and on this year's varsity team got their start in playing seventh grade football with the dream of playing on this field one day.
It's hard sometimes because of the different changes that their body goes through from the seventh grade to the eighth grade all the way up until they play JV and varsity football. But we can kind of get an idea from watching PE class who's going to be a good thrower and a good catcher and a guy who kind of understands spacing and has the mechanics that go with catching passes and stuff. So as you go back through the years, you can look back, and there was one particular class of their last football year for us was 2009. They graduated in 2010, but there were 2 or 3 kids in that class who we had in 7th grade PE who were really good football players. Jonathan Karkoff was a quarterback, Max Williams was a wide receiver, Drew Stockton was a wide receiver, Taylor Mack was in that class. That was a very athletic class, and it was an awful lot of fun to watch them play every day in PE, and they had a really good 7th grade football team that continued all the way up through the JV and the varsity. I think in their varsity careers, that class played in the 2009 Final Four, the 2007 Final Four and state championship, and the 2006 Final Four as freshmen.
I think we see a lot of growth. Physically, of course, we see them grow as young men. They go from these 7th grade boys to these upper school men. But as far as growth as a player, man, that's a tough question. We see them really develop as athletes on the field and as young men off the field. And I think if we were pointing out specific players, I'm not sure I could give you set individuals because there's been so many of them through the years. My first year at 7th grade football was this senior class right now. Guys like Peyton, guys like Evan McCown who played middle school football, and I've watched them develop and grow into these really good football players and really good young men, and I think that's one of the most important things.
Seventh grade players need to have fun while learning because the growing will happen later.
More than anything, I want them to have a good time. Football is a different kind of a game. It's the most unnatural thing in the world to take your body and run into another body full speed. And if you can get kids who are willing to do that and learn how to do it the right way, I think it really kind of carries over for them from year to year to year. But more than anything else, I want them to have a good time and enjoy the sport, so maybe that interest level continues to grow as they progress through the school.
As of September 21st, the Lovett 7th grade football team has a record of 2-1. Last night they played against Woodward Academy and beat them 20-6. They hope to have a good run into the playoffs.
So I'm really confident in the team. We have a really athletic team, and we're not the fastest team, we're not the biggest team. We're definitely gonna be the smartest team out of anybody out there. So I think we're gonna do a pretty good job.
But at the end of the day, why do we really love football?
I get to hit people without getting in trouble.
I just like being able to hit other people and get all your anger out.
You get to strap on a helmet and shoulder pads and hit someone as hard as you can.
You get to hit people without getting in trouble, so that's really, really fun.
What I love most is I love just going full speed at people, and you can't get hurt really, and you don't get in trouble for hitting people as hard as you can.
I'm Burke Volkman with help from Nick Carino, Carson Dodd, Landon Kalish, Chris Millard, and Avi Daftari. OnLion News Network, Atlanta, Georgia.